Hi guys, it's going and all of that. Let me just sort this out. For some reason, um, there we go. Yeah, guys, hope you're all doing okay. Let me just see if my microphone's coming through. Audio one, two. Yeah, my audio is coming through. Let me have a quick check as well. See if I'm coming through the live stream as well. But yeah, I'm gonna be phoning. I'm being Victor on the 8th because scammer took a lot, took all my money and stuff like that and left me with debts and all that. I'm going to be made homeless. And yet, the people that said they're going to help me and all of that, and they so excuses. Oh, sorry that the ticket hasn't arrived yet. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna hold them to account. I'm gonna phone them. And uh, oh, and somebody's texting me as well. And oh, oh, let me just see if I'm coming through. There you go. Let's see. As you can hear, somebody from they said they've travelled all the way from Australia to get to here, but they haven't. I can't spell social right. Whoops. Yeah, I'm lagging a bit because I'm on a laptop, guys. So do forgive me with the laptop and all that, guys. I mean, I haven't got my main rig and all that. No, I'm gonna rip into to this person now. There you go. Mm-hmm. Notice that? Notice that? They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They're doing Satan's work. I keep following them. I keep bugging the hell of them now. And the number, guys, is 7500 785 877. They, it's a social worker's number and all of that. Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be helping. I mean, this is a public number. And they're supposed to be helping and all that, and they're not. See what I mean? They're hiding. They know they don't help people. They're only in it for the money at these places. You know what I mean? Because what it was as well. Oh, yeah, I can phone in. I mean, because all they do is just sit at a desk and they just say, "Oh, you come in." You know what I mean, they say to disabled people that can't walk and all that as well. Oh, come in, and it's like, how are people going to get to you? And they're just lazy. You know what I mean, they got the sin of sloth and all that. You know what I mean, they lie, this, that, and so forth, and 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 the thing is as well. You know what I mean, I've had to basically what you call it, use my trolley, and I've collapsed. 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? From you know what I mean? Well, funny, we got heat today. You know, what I mean? Last time we had heat. Bug it up. And I bet you the reason why they keep changing their phone numbers because they screw people over. They make people angry, and I bet you, right? They've changed their numbers a few times because they've intentionally pissed people off, and I'm just gonna sort of like just be like, hey, You know? And they don't like it that I'm holding them to account. They don't like it. Yeah, I mean, and authorities are not above the people, guys. I mean, the authorities are not above the people. You know what I mean? And we have like loads of people in the public and all of that. You know what I mean? They think, oh, there's help out there for these people to go to. Does this look like help? I mean, you got people from Swansea services um, hiding. I mean, they're hiding. You know what I mean? Because what I should do is call them at the appointment at 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I thought them at 2 because that's my time, man. It's fitting in because I haven't got money to get in, and they said they sent out the bus ticket, and that's how people just go, sorry, and they think that's all fine, despite the authorities have caused the damage. You know what I mean, and all that and everything else. You know, guys, when I was younger and stuff like that, I was like a happy-go-lucky person and all that. I didn't think about the problems of the world and all of that and so forth, right? And then something very tragic at the age of 13, you know, what I mean, by another adult came along. Well, I should say adults, really, because, you know what I mean? Especially what happened to me, innit? And ever since then, it's made me look at the world for what it truly is. You know what I mean? And despite what happened to me at 13 years old, I still try and tell jokes. I still try and be happy and all that. You know what I mean? I do, help people and all that and so forth. And, and you know what the funny thing is? People pay taxes for services like this that ignore people that need help. You know what the funny thing is? I've helped people for free, and there's many people out there that have helped people for free and all that. And yet, I've paid for this service, and many of others have paid for this service. But we pay for service to be helped, not to be mocked and ignored. Jesus would not do this. You know what I mean? Jesus wouldn't just say, "Oh, just come to me. You have an appointment," and all of that, and this, that, and so forth. No. If Jesus knew that you couldn't get to him, he would go to you. You know what I mean? Swansea authority is, yeah, I mean, they are definitely way off the path. You know what I mean? Everything else. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect, you know that yet. You know what I mean? And so forth. I'm each and every day. You know what I mean? I got this by here as well, and I know there's only 6 books in this one. And I have been reading, some of the lost books, or I should say, taken out of there, out of the Bible. But anyway, and the thing is as well, Swansea authorities, I've noticed, you know, I mean, like the picture of the police officer I've got in my thumbnail. He is arrogant to the public and all of that, and then the authorities are wondering why we, the people, are going. You know what? You lot are not about helping us or protecting us and this, that, and everything else. You're about whatever the government says. I'm going to phone one more time, just for the halibut of it now. But anyway, I don't give up, guys. I'm stubborn. Because I've learned one thing in this life. People want an easy ride and convenience. You know what I mean? And so if you keep at them, they'll do everything in their power, you know what I mean, to get that convenience. You know what I mean? That lazy way. You keep bugging the hell out of them. I mean, yeah, I mean, as long as you're not aggressive, as long as you don't swear, this, that, and everything else, unlike the police who mock you and beat disabled people up and everything else that I've seen many times. I remember a fracking video. And I think it was when Enoch Crane was alive as well. I think it was down the one he was on. And look at that. We don't want to know. Um, uh, so, and the thing is, well, even notice how people, they're like, I haven't forgotten to go to fracking, but even notice how people think, oh, you've got an appointment, you can come in, and all of that, and everything's fine. And the thing is, I agreed to go in because he said, why don't we send you out a bus ticket? I went, okay, you know what I mean? And I'll come in and I agreed to go in and everything, and yet the bus ticket hasn't shown up. And I think they go, oh, we're just making an appointment. And we haven't got time to make another appointment. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You know what I mean? Was it? It's the, it's the 22nd now. And 8th of July is going to be coming up pretty damn quick. You know what I mean? And they think, oh, yeah, we'll do it. And I'm like, I haven't got time. And the thing is, as well, what they don't like as well is like, I bring up this all the time, right? They hate it, and I bring it all the time. I said, well, if you didn't want me homeless, then you should have arrested my attacker instead of arresting me. You know what I mean? And they're like, you know what I mean? Oh, no, 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 don't be like that. You know, that's in the past now. No, you want it to be in the past. I will not let it drop. You know what I mean? I always bring it up, but and they're like, and I said, right, and it's funny how I'm the one who solved the issue that day before the police even turned up and all that. The person came and tried to kill me and my neighbor and all of that and so forth. And the perpetrator went running back and all of that. Everything solved. And then the police gets involved and all of that. And yet me, I end up getting arrested. You know, trying to stop a flipping perpetrator trying to kill two people. Interesting that. And they've been covering up ever since. Swansea police, Casino police, the authorities in general, they've all been trying to do a cover up. That's why they're not answering the phone now because they know I'm like going, hold on a minute, let's see what's going on. Every time they see me in that mindset, like I'm trying to find out, okay, what's going on, right, they go running, they go hiding. I mean, the courts in Swansea are, I mean, they are definitely not linked to God. Well, not the God I know, anyway. You know what I mean? Because you can call Satan God, so are they linked to Satan? I mean, the way they do things and all that, the courts, the police, and all that, and everything else, the authorities and all that, and also they go around doing shit like this as well in the authorities, and that as well, and that, and they do the old. I see them many times. I mean, all the time, and yet the public go by, not realizing what's going on. When I've gone into town, or I've been, I mean, in a legal building, police station or court room, I'm looking around, I can see like, right, got yeah, that one's part of the brotherhood. That's part of the sisterhood. That was part this. That's, I'm like that. You know what I mean? I spot my mile off. You know what I mean? And and the thing is, as well, I mean, the courtrooms and all of that. I mean, and the authorities, that the people in there, they are definitely not going to heaven. They are definitely not going to heaven. And some people be asking to me, how do you know that? It's by the way they've got their allegiance to. You know what I mean? Because their allegiance is towards the parliament and government and all of that. Because if you're willing to say, "Oh, I'm just doing my job," "Oh, I'm just doing what the government tells me to," and all of that, then you've kicked out God out your heart. You've kicked out Jesus out of your heart. You know what I mean? And yet, Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many videos I've done on this channel and on other channels and stuff like that. And I know I keep deleting them as well because I'm like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, what's the point? You know what I mean? The public are just going to keep going along with the authorities and all that and everything. And people who are disabled, and people who have been forcibly unemployed and they'll never get a job again and all that. They're going to be murdered by the state because the general public keeps funding authorities and the government and all of that and everything else. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, hey, we're not going to pay into government and all that and so forth. We're not going to pay into the councils. We're not going to pay the people that are causing harm and all that. We're going to keep the money to ourselves, and then we'll set something up, and then we'll help the poor that way. We'll help people this way and that way and so forth. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Because what I've noticed with the authorities, end of the day, and so forth, they love lying. I mean, that's what they love to do. They love to lie to me and you, and they say, "Oh, we are here to help. Look at all these great works we're doing, and all of that, and so forth." You notice that they boasting. It tells us in the Bible not to boast, not what I mean, everything and so forth, and and yet they boasted, "Oh, look at all this we're doing." And so people are thinking, "Oh, this is getting done." While over here, I mean, out of the public's eye line, I mean, homeless people are dying. This is the authorities' way of saying, we're helping you." They give you a bed for free and night, and you're back on the street, and you're dead within 6 days during winter. Right? This is the authorities' way of saying that they're helping. I've heard, quite a few homeless people say this as well. And there's a video as well. I think it's from the people of Wales or the Voice of Wales as well. And I've heard many have said this as well from the homeless people themselves. They said, "Oh, we don't get the help from Swansea authorities and all that. They look like they're there to help, but they're only there for their paychecks and stuff like that and so forth." And do you know the funny thing is as well, guys? Well, it's not funny, but um, over Christmas time, when I couldn't get back into this place, I was locked out and kicked out and all of that and so forth. You know what I mean? Because the landlord thought I'd left, but no, the police arrested me because I was standing up to authorities and all of that. And and what I noticed, one of the groups I went to, for help and all that in Swansea, right? This is the attitude, right? Because I know a lot of those people don't get money sent to them, right? A lot of people, the homeless people, don't have benefits and all that, right? This is what one of Swansea charities said to me for the homeless, right? I mean, you don't have to help them and so forth because they get their own money. All of them do. And don't. And I had just spoken to a homeless person. I know I was homeless at the time myself. But I spoke to another homeless person, and I said, "Sorry, mate, I can't help you. I got no money myself. I just been made homeless myself and all that." And they told me, I mean, I've been homeless for a while, and I haven't had no help from Swansea authorities and all of that, and so I got no money and stuff like that and everything else, right? And 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 this guy, he wasn't selling the big issue or nothing like that, right? This guy was like proper. I mean, this guy had been forgotten. I mean, and and so when I went to that charity I mentioned about when they said, "Oh, they get the benefits," no, they don't. I think that's the story they're telling the public and all that. Oh yeah, they're getting help. They are getting this and that. A lot of them ain't. A lot of them are left to die, to rot on the streets, because some of the authorities, like all authorities throughout the UK, a lot of them, I know a lot to all, are basically doing what Parliament tells them to do. And Parliament is part of the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, and all that. Basically, we all know the phrase, you will have nothing and you will be happy, sort of thing. Basically, you'll have nothing and you'll be a slave, or worse, dead. You know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, notice how they've twisted the Bible as well. Think about this. Think how the World Economic Forum and the authorities of the UK and around the world have twisted the Bible, right? Yes, there's a yeah, I mean a verse in the Bible and all that where it says, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not going to quote it, but yeah, I mean, it goes on the lines of "Do not be of the world, only be part of it," sort of thing. You know what I mean? And that means, yes, you can walk around, you can still eat the food, you can still have money and all of that and so on, but don't let it take your heart. Don't let it be the thing you focus on all the time and stuff like that. Don't let it be the main thing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Don't let it consume you. Don't let it become your addiction and all of that and everything else. You know what I mean? You can still walk around and not like in a video game. You know what I mean? You can walk around and all that, but you're not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, going to be affected that much by it. Yes, you may see the world and all of that. You're part of it. Doesn't mean you know what I mean. You're of that world. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. So, and that's where I see it. This whole thing. You know what I mean, the police. You know what I mean, is just a title for people wearing uniform. That's all it means. You know what I mean, and it goes with a job description. So, being in the police, that's not them. You know what I mean? It's just got people following orders from government, and also Jesus always knowing that there will be people who think that they can serve two masters, and they end up having none. You know what I mean? So those who sort of like think, oh, I'll just go along with what the government says and so forth, then you've turned your back on Jesus. You've turned your back on the divine. You've turned your back on so many, you know, teachings that Jesus will bring. You know what I mean? If you think, yeah, I mean, I just don't know, guys. Part of me, right now, I'm got like loads of thoughts going through my head right now. Yeah, I mean, because and I'm going to say it because the Bible also teaches us don't worry what other people think of you. You know what I mean? And I'm one of those people that don't give a damn what people think of me because my eyes are on God, my eyes are on Jesus, and Britain is a devil's place. You truly look around. Not getting angry at me. You truly look around. How many of you can say clearly many people have got the love and care of Jesus in their heart? Look at what Jesus did and all that. How many of you can safely say the United Kingdom is really doing the work of Jesus? How many have actually got the bearing that cross on their back? Swansea authorities ain't. Swansea police haven't. The court systems in this country haven't. You know what I mean? 10 Downing Street haven't. World Economic Forum, the Bank of England, the Royals haven't. They're all part of the synagogue of Satan. And that's the thing, guys. If you don't follow Jesus Christ and all that, you're part of the synagogue of Satan. You know what I mean? And it says it in the Bible. You know what I mean? And I have shown this before as well. You know what I mean? It's if I remember correctly, it's Revelations and 3:9 as well. I mean, hey guys, I remember something. Yay. And the amount of destruction and torment and lies and slander that I've had to go through, guys, by other people. Not all, but by other people, right? And I keep going, and I keep going, I keep going, I keep going, and people, you know what I mean, and thing is, right? I've got online stores, right? I've got, I've done, podcasts in the past. I've done, streams and all of that, and so on. And I didn't do them just for me, you know what I mean? Because I've had people say to me on my Twitch, "Oh, why don't you just game? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that?" And I wasn't doing it for me. You know what I mean, Because I also got a friend that I mean, on Discord. Yeah, I mean, and he's saying that a lot of people, yeah, I mean, they they don't really like what you're saying and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, they think it's a bit out there and all that. Guess what? What Jesus did, but when you look at it, seems a bit out there. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to tell the truth, no matter what it is. And if it seems a bit out there by people, that's on them. That's not on you or me. As long as you're telling the truth, it doesn't matter how it looks. That's the thing. And that's where the legal system has gone. You know, I mean, because I've stood in front of the legal system many times, and they know the main concern they have is you, the public, knowing the truth. As I mean, they ask my solicitors like, you know what I mean, are people understanding what he's saying and stuff like that? And the stuff I'm putting out there, guys, right? When I had my warriorwales.com website, you know, that got taken by a shill from the alternative media and so forth. But anyway, we'll get into that another day. And and I'm standing there, right, thinking, okay, this is supposed to be a place where you get justice and all of that and so forth, right? Supposed to be, right? So you can tell by my language, supposed to be. So you know from those words alone, I know it ain't. I know the courthouses are a whorehouse for Satan, right? We got to call it for what it is, right? No point beating around the bush. I mean, one day I'm going to be dead anyway, so I might as well just say it. You know what I mean? The legal system and the authorities of Britain are a bunch of whorehouses, right? The police worship the Babylon, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The police, the legal system, everything in Britain right now, on a system base, might as well be called children of Lilith. And you guys know I've looked into Lilith and all that by me saying that as well. You know what I mean? Lilith, that's I mean, spawned all these demons and little minions or whatever they were. The spawn of these dark creatures and all that, these demons and all that. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the reason why the police wear black these days, because they're not coming from a good place and all that. They're coming from an evil place. You know what I mean? No legislation from government and all that says what you do is good. You know what I mean? A lot of it is actually to keep mankind, God's children, enslaved. When you truly look at it, you know what I mean, think think back to the days when I mean when you were a child. A lot of grown-ups now, and you were inside your parents' homes and all that. And you thought, I got all this freedom, and then all of a sudden you try to do something, and then you put in the parents like, no, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. What's so different with government? If you're truly free, then why are you letting other people? Lachlan Rose talks about it. Max Simon talks about this. Thomas Sheridan speaks about it. Enoch Crane used to talk about it. Rest in peace. You know what I mean? And Logical talks about this. You know what I mean? Many, 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 many people have spoken out. You know what I mean? And well, and the Lachlan Rose thing, I mean, go and check out the Jones Plantation. That's based on somebody that used to live on a plantation. I mean, and he could see, wait a minute, we're all enslaved here. That's what many of us. The slavery isn't. I mean, that you can see that you're on a cotton thing these days, and you can physically see your slave master right in front of you, and you're being physically whipped and all that. the plantation has changed. You know what I mean? The enslavement is still there, but it's in a different form. And what they've done, instead of putting physical chains on, I mean, and everything else, they use words, gaslighting. They use psychology on us, the public, and they get us to enslave ourselves, getting us to think, oh, if I don't do this, oh, the authorities will come for me. Oh, if I don't do that, the government will do. And then you're like, well, hold on a minute. People, the question people need to ask: why have those people in Parliament and the council got me doing all this running around when they just sit back and take the money from us? And they say those people that are unemployed are the problem. Wait a minute, how can they be the problem? They don't get us to to run around and do all this and so forth. Parliament does. Councils do. And the funny thing is, those who work in utility companies do. They're the ones that get the rest of us to run around to pay the bills and all of that and so forth, and pay the taxes. It's not the unemployed. There's a lot of people on that unemployment hill would love to be in a job right now and everything else. They would love to be doing this. But there seems to be an agenda going on from the World Economic Forum, which which you've got the police not investigating in, because the police don't want to investigate the crimes of government. Instead, the media calls it a scandal when it's actually a crime going on. I mean, that's what scandals are, crimes. You know what I mean? And conspiracy is also another way of saying crime going on. So when you hear conspiracy theory, it's actually a criminal theory, a crime theory going on. Just saying. So anyway, and the thing is as well, yeah, I mean, and this is another thing, right? I'll phone the authorities again in a minute, and so on. And luckily, I said I'm going to go up to storage tomorrow to dump the remaining of my stuff off tomorrow. Well, most of it I can anyway. Um, and it's going to kill me because the heat is the same heat that almost took me up last time. Almost killed me off. You know what I mean? But the authorities don't care. The authorities are like, oh, but if you do this, if you do that, and so forth. Do you know what? I turned around to them when they started doing that. I said, "Hey, listen, yeah, I've been doing all of this on my own for years. You know what I mean? All the stuff I've been doing for years. I've been exposing the corruption. I've been exposing this. I've been doing that. I've been doing everything myself and so forth, while asking for help, getting none. My mum warned me that you get fuck all from Swansea, you get fuck all from South Wales and all that, and you get fuck all from the UK because everybody's too busy being greedy and selfish. And yet they got the nerve to blame immigrants. And you know what? Me and my mum may argue, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're a long spells of when we were younger, before she had the illness now, me and mum, we had a blast, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I noticed me, my brother and her, we only argued a lot more because we loved each other so much. The pain she was going through was affecting us all. And you know what I mean? I reckon, right? You know what I mean? Uh, but what she said about Swansea authorities and the establishment in general, 100% spot on. And she noticed it. I saw through the establishment from a young age. I had to, especially what happened to me. I mean, that if it wasn't, I've said it before and all that, and so I don't have to go into the long details of it. But If it wasn't for that history teacher stopping two people from the council, you know what I mean, trying to kidnap me, yeah. And we've heard now loads of stories now coming out and so forth that people within the council and schools and all that, PDFs and all that. And I'm looking back thinking, there wasn't much of this when I was younger, you know what I mean, being exposed. And I think because of many of us have continued to speak out and force the hand of the mainstream and all that, you know what I mean? Look how many people that knew before BBC and the mainstream covered it about Jimmy Savile. I mean, a lot of people, what was it? I mean, we call it Bill Maloney. I mean, when he went on Sky 200 and he just blurted out there, you know, I mean, Jimmy Savile is a PDF. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, a little while after, you know, I mean, we saw BBC and the mainstream newspapers and many others covering it. So it always takes the people, the public, to keep speaking out because the police don't want to do anything. They want things easy. You know what I mean? Despite they go off and deal, and I see them dealing with so-called knife crime and all that and so forth. I mean, if a knife is a crime, then why are they selling knives? Think about that. If knife is a crime, the knife itself is a crime, then why do they sell knives? When you think of it, I think we need to look at the language, what they really say in there. And the police are not going to like me decoding what's actually being said. What the police and the courts and the governments are really saying, we, the establishment, can do anything we want. We're the ones that can only defend ourselves and, you know what I mean, and make it look like we're defending you. But, and here's the but, right? If you try and defend yourself and all of that, we're going to come and arrest your ass and get every bit of money and destroy your life. Which has happened to me. I've defended myself, kept myself alive. And here's the message that the courts sent me, right? I mean, this is the message they sent. And the police of Swansea are not going to like this. The courts are not going to like this. And all the authorities are not going to like this. And the establishment itself is not going to like this, right? I could say right now, I'll go and say, go over to the other side, you know what I mean, and not have breath in this world again, sort of thing, right? Poof, out comes loads of police and all that, and mental health teams and all that, right? But then they're being hypocrites. I tell you why they're being hypocrites, right? Why are they saying me keeping myself alive against a criminal is bad, right? You know what message that sends? Do you know what message that sends? That I have no right to stay alive and I have no right to defend against other people who are trying to take me out. Now, I don't mean to dinner or cinema and all of that, right? I mean that I have no right to stop them. I have no right to stop criminals. I have no right to stop anybody from taking this life away from me. That's the message Swansea, Signing Police, the mental health teams, and many others for years have said to me. Now, they don't have to say it. By them keeping the cover up going, that is the message that they keep sending to me. And everybody else tells me, oh, no, that's in the past. No, but it's still there. And the only thing that keeps me calm, cool, and relaxed is this, the Holy Bible. God's teachings keeps me cool and relaxed because I know it doesn't matter what judgment that judge in his courtrooms put or the police or whatever, God will have the final say on these people. You know what I mean? God will judge them for their lies, for their deceit, for their cover-ups, everything. And they don't like me mentioning that when I bring it up. I don't bring it up to all of them, but you know what I mean? And like that story I told. When my mum was laying in her bed right by there. You know what I mean? Sort of like I'm by here. See, you picture this like from where I'm sitting, just like just from starting point, and then 6 meters out that way. She would be laying by there, bedridden with rheumatoid arthritis and everything else. And one day we had a female officer that came in to to the building, and they're on about the witches mask in the window. All it is a mask. It doesn't harm anybody. It shows how thin-skinned and pathetic people are, right? And they say, "Oh, you could take it down from the window." And I went, "No." And my mum goes, "No, no, people are allowed to do that." And I then sort of like brought my voice forward and all of that a little bit more. And when they tried to say, "Oh, but do you follow government's laws?" And I was trying to be off it, I went, "No." You know, that was the time I think I was being tested, not by the establishment, but I think by the divine God to see where my loyalties are at. No, no, like you can't serve two masters bit in the Bible. Yeah, I think this is a point where Jesus and God was seeing where I stand. Right. So when they said that, "Oh, do you serve government's laws and all that?" I went, "No." Notice how my tone changes. It's almost like a sympathetic tone. But that's the tone I use. You know what I mean? It's like and it said, "Oh, do you serve government's laws?" I went, "No, I s- I serve God's laws." And the look on her face and all that, and she just went, "Phoom," gone. She left this place. You know what I mean? And my mum just looking at me, smiling. You know what I mean? Because that was an interesting day, you know what I mean? But I am not going to choose government over God. No, I will always choose God over government. They do not like that. And one of the things I said as well when I was on probation as well, I said, why don't they bring a Bible in, in the court? And Nicola Collins and others, the look they gave me, I don't think they realized they gave me this look. I was like, huh? You know, what I mean? But I said, why don't they, take a Bible in the court? You know what I mean, hotels have got them, some of them, and all that, and so forth. Why don't the courtrooms? And and she said, "Oh, we don't do that." I said, in my mind, right? I'm thinking, if you're not going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, that sort of thing, right? Wouldn't you have a Bible in there? Why are the courtrooms scared to have God inside the courtrooms? Ask yourself that. What I mean, I was waiting until the next thing, and I was like, Russian. I'm like, no, slow it down. No, it's not like, no, slow it down. Slow. Are they keeping God out of the courtrooms and many things these days? Because a lot of the establishment, or all the establishment, are doing wicked ways. They're doing sinful ways. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do sinful things, and so forth and all that, but nothing on the murderous type and all that and everything else. But then again, right? It does speak about, how certain words can kill. Because when you think about it, if you speak negatively about something, you're changing the DNA, and the structure and all that. Could look at water, the way that changes depending on certain frequencies, and either between love and hate and all that and so forth. And this is why I shocked the legal system on what I said one time. I mean, because they so used to like having people go in front of them and all that, like, oh, you must hate this person what they done to you. You know what I mean? Don't you have revenge? I was like calm, cool, recording everything they were saying and all that. I was thinking to myself, revenge. What is revenge? Isn't revenge is like when somebody does something to you. So they admitted in that moment that somebody had done something to me. Despite the whole thing, it was, I mean, with a kangaroo court. Well, I've had two kangaroo courts. I mean, but they admitted themselves. Even the South Wales Police, Swansea Police, have admitted many, many, many times that I've had things done to me. They've admitted under God that things have been done to me. All right, and this is why I say cool, calm, and I try and keep building what I'm trying to build. You know what I mean? I got my own online store on Teespring and all that. You know what I mean? I have got, as you some of you guys seen on Spreadshirt, but I've been finding out Spreadshirt are not really a good company. So before I can go further with them or permanently, get rid of them, I'm investigating into Spreadshirt and all that. I want to see what's really going on because I jumped on to the X thing and people saying that a certain person is a not a lovely lady, put it that way, right? And so I'm instead of just going on what people say, I'm actually looking into it and find out the truth for myself. You know what I mean? But anyway, so if you guys want to pop onto Teespring, and I mean, and I think we got into this about me creating things and all that, and create my online stores. And I have also got a buy me a coffee account, which is WW Network on the end of it. So as you guys know, it's buymeacoffee.com/WW Network. I think it's forward slash, or is it backward slash? It's one of the slashes anyway. Sounds like I'm for a wee, isn't it? It's one of the slashes. Yeah, I mean, it's either by the pink guy, the black guy, the brown guy, the Asian guy, or well, the Welsh guy, the English guy, the American. Anyway, or the lady having a wee, or the bloke having a wee. Anyway, sorry, one of the slashes. Anyway, but anyway, so I'm now listening to the conversation. I mean, on what they're saying over the years, and many, 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 many times the police have basically said the very thing that I know that they know that I am innocent in a lot of the things that have been going on. You know what I mean? I tell you what, I'm not innocent in. I don't mind sharing this, right? You know what I mean? There are days I actually, complain about the wrong people. I accidentally do that. I mean, I'm bad for that. You know what I mean? It's one of the things that I accidentally do. You know what I mean? And I've learned to stop doing that. Because complaining is not a good thing. You know what I mean? So that is wrong. And I used to blame myself for everything. And you know what I mean? I, I used to blame myself for every little thing that I did not do. So in other words, I would take everybody else's guilt on and all that and so forth and everything without realizing it. And then I started to think, hold on a minute. Why am I so bogged down? And people took advantage of that. They started then just blaming me for everything. You know what I mean? And that's when people saw me. One minute I was part of people's lives and I went, vroom, I was gone. I was on my own a lot. Because I didn't want them to keep passing the guilt and blaming me for things they were doing onto me. So I thought, you know what? Let's see what happens when I'm not around. Who are they going to blame then? You know what I mean? For what they do. Notice how the public are like that as well. Think about that. Think of it. You look at the public, society in general. They're always blaming outside themselves. They the government, the councils, this and that and so forth, without looking within themselves and trying to find out what's really going on. Me, I'm trying to find out what's really going on. I've looked within myself first. I mean, this is how far I went, guys. Bit extreme, by some of you may think. I was living in 3019 Taylor Street, right? I bought black and white CCTV cameras, hooked them up to my VCR, and I recorded myself. You know what I mean, in that room. And because there was a bed set, people would come back and forth all day, and I wanted to see how I reacted to people that would talk to me, not how they reacted to me, how I reacted to them. Think about it. You can't control other people's ways and all that, and you should not try. Do not do that. I just want to see how I reacted with people, because in my head, it's like, am I really like this? People say. So I recorded myself, you know what I mean, for a long period of time. You can't do it just for a day, you know what I mean? I did it for months and months and months. I noticed a pattern. I was like, hold on a minute. I'm there on camera going, oh. And then after they went, I'd be like, but why am I doing down like that? And I started to notice I'm taking people's guilt on. I'm taking people's blames onto me. I'm taking everything on. And I was like, that's not good for me. That is going to wear me down. I mean, so when people say to me, "Oh, you think you're right all the time?" No, I've just done the hard work. I've looked at myself. The biggest thing that you'll ever do, or the hardest thing you'll ever do, is look at yourself. That's the biggest and hardest thing. And I saw things I didn't like about myself. I thought, great, I look weak. You know what I mean, for one. You know what I mean, I look pathetic. I look. You know what I mean, these are the things I was calling myself. You know what I mean, I even said to myself, I might as well have just murdered myself. You know what I mean, and technically I did. That version of me went. I killed it off. All right, no. And I have this saying, a lot of people don't realize this. The saying has come from how I looked at myself. Death is a doorway. I killed that version of me. I went, no, be gone. I'll never be that again. You know what I mean? That's what the saying means. And people see me wear the tops round here. You know what I mean? Death is a doorway and all the other things that I do. Because it stemmed from that day. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, you know what I mean, unfortunately, you know what I mean, don't look at themselves. And that's, you know what I mean, fine if they choose not to look at themselves and make themselves better and all that, that's on them. You know what I mean? Same as me looking at myself and looking within myself and all that to see what the hell's really going on. How many people in the police look within themselves? Are they really doing the right thing? Are they really, really doing what should be done rightfully? Do you really, really care on knowing the truth? Do you really, really want to get to heaven, or are you part of bringing hell to earth? Oh, well, actually, hell is already here. But anyway, and also the devil owns earth, by the way. We've got to bring heaven to earth, by the way. You know what I mean? That's why we are a duality. We can't be ways of the flesh. And we can't let the flesh control us. But at the same time, we've got the option to bring heaven down to earth. You know, like they're saying, as above, so below. But a lot of people, I mean, unfortunately, are not going to get that. Sadly, you know, a lot of people are not going to look within themselves because they're too scared to look within themselves. But they don't mind blaming others. You know what I mean, I know. I sort of like just give a massive roar one day. You know, there's much trauma I had in me, guys, because of what people were doing to me from a young age, and then one time, you know, in the cell, because I tried to take photos of those trying to break into my property, but one of them phoned the police and I ended up in a police cell saying, "Oh, he's spying on us, he's doing this." And I'm like, no, it's got evidence of dickheads trying to break into my flipping property. I mean, I even, you know, phoned the police that night as well. It's actually on record as well, because the reason I know it's on record, one of my friends from school came out from the police force named Rachel, and she saw the blue X on my wall marking me for death, by the way. So the police know I've been marked for death quite a few times, and people have tried to kill me, but have the police ever done anything about it? No. They can't be asked. But if it was one of them in uniform that were being threatened and attacked and all that, oh yeah, you would have probably 15 police cars, you know, 30 vans, 15 helicopters, and probably about 10 arms units from multiple different places to go after one person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hypocrites. And then and the Bible warns us of hypocrites as well as pharmakia. But anyway, So yeah. So when like yesterday when I was creating that thumbnail, I mean that's actually from another video from Facebook. I mean where somebody was handing in a knife. You know what I mean? I think it was like to the YMCA or something, and people were like, "Oh, he's got a knife," because they've been conditioned so much to fear. Oh, no. And do you know we're going, you could startle someone and then you could cause an accident? You know what I mean? Because if you're going to have a place where you're going to hand knives in, right? I don't know what the layout of the place is. By the reactions, probably open. You know what I mean? Probably like, yeah, I mean, like now, I got no shielding by here in front of me. So somebody, if they want to come in, they can just come and go, "Ha, I'm down, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Because by the time I turn around and get up, I mean, nah, I mean, I'd be too slow. But the thing is, if you're handing in knives and all that and so forth, if people are going to be that thin skinned and pathetic, yes, pathetic, on, oh, knife, why don't they have just a box then, a grinder, right, where you just drop the knife in, it grinds up the knife without people going, knife. You know what I mean? It's like one of those inflatable waving arm things. Oh, knife, gun. It's not the gun that's the problem. It's not the knife that's the problem, and all that and so forth. Knife is not a crime. Gun is not a crime. You know what I mean? Staircases are not a crime. Think how many people fallen downstairs and broken their neck and died. But yet we don't go, oh, stairs are a crime. Because that'd be stupid. Right? And also elevators. I mean, when they've killed people, I've actually watched somebody fall backwards and an elevator just crushed them. You know what I mean? And everything. And yet we don't go, oh, elevators are crime. See how stupid police and the government and all that make things? Objects are not criminal, right? It's just an object. Why are we demonizing objects? It shows the lack of intelligence and common sense that's going around at the moment. You know what I mean? Because you can stab somebody with this, get the pointy thing hard enough, and you can send people to the other side if you wanted to. But we don't say pens are dangerous. Police carry pens all the time. Are they terrorists with a pen all the time? But anyway, pencils are the same as well, like lead poisoning and all of that and so forth. And I mean, a walking stick. I mean, a car. It's good. That's why I've said to people, I mean, over the years on my shows, if you censor one thing, you're going to censor the next thing, to the point we have nothing. It's not the object's fault. You got to look at the mentality first. It's never the object's fault. I mean, think about it. Even if something's been hanging up and it finally comes down, is that the object's fault? No. We put it up there. So eventually it is going to come down. It's not the object's fault. That's why I got into a mini debate with a South Wales police officer. I said, knife's not a crime. They looked at me like, huh? Wait, what? Knife's not a crime. They went, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Knife is not a crime. And they look at me, and I didn't go fully into it. I said, so I just went on level of, think of a restaurant owner. You know what I mean? They need knives and all that, to take back and forth to the restaurant. If one breaks, they got to go out and buy another one, bring it in, and so forth. So if they've got a knife, in the car, by your definition, you know what I mean, then you should arrest all chefs. That you should arrest all people that've got a knife. They're like, oh, no, but knife is a crime. No, it's not. What they do in there, by saying knife is a crime, you're taking away, of saying It's the being's fault. That's what you're doing. No, I'm not saying, we shouldn't send people to prison because you say knife's not a crime. No, that's not what I'm saying. By saying knife is a crime, you're blaming the object. What I'm doing, I'm moving it from the knife to the being. See, knife's not a crime. The accountability is on the being. Notice the logic now. Police. It's the same as anybody can have a mental breakdown at any one point. That includes police officers with a stress disorder and so forth. So therefore, should we take guns away from the police if they're saying gun is a crime? See the logic I'm bringing in there? By your own logic, police and the government and so on saying knife is a crime, that means we should look at guns, at all guns, and should we then take away all guns from police? Take away all batons from police? Take tasers away from the police and all that? Because what you're saying is men and women should not have anything to defend themselves. Because you step into a uniform to make yourself as police officers, that does not transform you into a different entity, right? It does not. All it means is you're a man and woman that's wearing clothing. That's what it is. A different type of clothing that makes you stand out. Like say, hey, you are a police officer in this job role right now, but it doesn't make you higher than somebody else. The only reason why you get away with a lot of things because the public, the majority at the moment, is consenting for you to have that position. The more bullshit you do to the public, more attacks you do to the public, there's going to be more of the public and less consenting for you to have that job role. Think about that. It's like a pendulum. At the moment, the majority of the public's on your side. But the more harm you keep doing to the public, it starts swinging the other way. And then the public go, you know what, we've had enough of this shit. Take away your clothing. No, it's your uniform. We don't want you in that role ever again. That is what's been going on. People are sick and tired right now. A lot of people are sick and tired of being bullied by the police, by people in uniform, I should say, by people in fabric that many of us have paid for. So you can have wages to go and get yourself a uniform. You know what I mean? I've seen some people go, oh, I don't care and all that. What if one day 100% of the public turned against the police? Turned against the job role of the police? Because you lot can't keep your hands off us when we are doing the right thing. When we speak out against tyranny and corruption, you put your hands on us, you're saying you want tyranny and corruption. 2, we have seen elderly people at protests and all of that doing, just walking, so, and you look a lot of colour and barge them over, treating them like they don't even exist. That's just one of the things why people are sick and tired of the police. 2, so sorry, let's keep moving on. I've also seen some police knocking over children. And I've got a video of that as well. And I've got it in one of my introductions I have done for shows where the police have bullied children left, right, and centre. You know what I mean? And Ian R. Crane, shared that as well on his Facebook page and all of that and so forth. And I went off and grabbed it. And I put it as part of my introduction. So before many people in the police services and courts and all going, oh, we're above the public and all that, you must bow down to us and so forth. Many of you have done harm to children. And I have witnessed a lot of it. And I have spoken out on it too. And I know the legal system is a cunt. From personal experience. And the very thing that shows up the police forces and the legal system, isn't it interesting? It takes somebody within prison to Minecraft a PDF. Yeah, it takes somebody in prison to do justice for a child. Think about that. A PDF does something in life, right? And the courts just go, oh, we're just going to give this person 2 months and all that. But if somebody posts something on X, they get that, 2 years to 3 years imprisonment and all that for just posting a couple of texts and they're not inciting anything. But yeah, a PDF gets 2 months. You might as well just give them a week or a day or not bother. You know what I mean? The way you lot are doing things. You know what I mean? But I know, because I'm one of those people that cheered when I saw the news that three people in prison took out a PDF in Minecraft. I cheered and all that and so forth, and I was thinking to myself, well, they may be inside in prison and all that, and what they did to get there, if they did anything, because I know the establishment do falsely arrest innocent people. You know what I mean? I don't know what them three did, but that day, those three did God's work. So when that PDF was in there and that PDF was like, boasting, ha 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 ha, them three went, really? And them three went up to that PDF and went, no more breath for you, mate, sort of thing, you know what I mean? And myself and many of the public cheered and said, buy those three a beer. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, because we don't know that them three stories. They might have murdered people, or they might not have. You know what I mean? But what they did that day, they took out a wrong one. A proper wrong one. You can't go back once you've done something like that to a child. You know what I mean? No, you cannot. You know what I mean? They did something that the police and the judges and all of them are scared to do themselves. Think about that. You know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, just arresting somebody and then just let the courts deal with it, that shows the lack of responsibility the police have. Think about it. And the thing is, as well, I wouldn't have had to do that if the police arrested my attackers. That's the trauma that the attacker did to me and the police did to me. You know what I mean? And all that. That will always be a symbol now, not a weakness anymore, because I've grown from that. I've moved on from that. I've become more spiritually stronger on multiple levels. But that will remind me, never trust the establishment. Only trust God. But anyway, and the thing is, well, I'm going to send this video to him, to the one that will not, what you call it, because the authorities can go, oh, we're going to hide, we're going to do this and all that and so forth. But what I'll do before I send the video, because it's 25 past, 25 to 11 right now. What I'll do, I'll pop to the shop to get something. I mean, I mean, all I can buy is a pack of biscuits, or a pint of milk, because So I'll go and do that. You know what I mean? Because for me to get in to see this person, right, guess how much it costs me to get in on a return. Just go and see for one day, £6.50. I remember the days, right? You could go from Casino, right, to Swansea and it'd be £1.75. Yeah. Do you know what? If it was still that price, £1.75, I could have got in and seen them. I mean, because I got £2 sitting there. But no, it costs £6 odd to get in now on a return. And they go in, oh, just come and see us now. You know what I mean? And two separate dates, right? Two separate dates, okay. Today was one. No one's going to be on the 7th, right? That's £13 just for 2 days on a bus. Does, does that make sense to you guys? I mean, the distance have not changed. The vehicles are supposed to be more efficient. Only one thing that's changed, and I've said it many, many times. The more people you have in a country, I mean, this is just one of the things. There's multiple other things, right? The more people you have in a country, that means the more you've got to print out. Therefore, the more devalued the currency becomes. Think about that, all right? Because when you've got like one £10 note, then that one £10 note is the full worth of £10. Then we got two, it becomes the value is half, and then you have then four, then it's in quarters, and then so forth and so forth. And then if you have 1,000 notes, then the value of that is then devalued to 1,000, and then so forth and so on. So if you got 64 million, and then you've got to print many, you're not going to have one person just one £10 note. You need them to have like hundreds of pounds, which looks like hundreds of pounds in their account. So 64 million, yeah, I mean, multiplied by how many notes they have, how much in the bank or wherever. Now you can see why countries fall and fail, because we've got people out there trying to put this illusion on us, saying, "Oh, you must need money. You got to have an economic system and all that and so forth." And yet again, we come back to this. And it says, "I am the way." You look around, all around us. We didn't create the animals. We didn't create plant life and all that. The divine, God created everything, all that, and so forth. And the thing is, as well, and I know I said Satan owns this world as well, but through Satan, the divine created this world. Think about it. But that doesn't make Satan good. And also, in some translations, Satan also means the accuser. So I'm going to ask the question to South Wales Police and many others. Have you stopped accusing me for standing up against a criminal? I can't help a dickhead try to take my life, but I did help to make sure all three of us stayed alive. If you want to carry on aiding and abetting the criminal, then quit your position as police officers. Have a good day on that one. Anyway, so as you probably guys can tell over there, I can't get my fingers to turn. There you go. But That logo I've done, as you can tell, is in shape of a police badge. Yeah, I went to South Wales Police logo, and I drawed one around one of the blades, and then I went round and just copy and pasting, changing the sizes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I copy and paste one set first, then I made a small, then did what I needed to do. You know what I mean? And then I drawed my own little handle because there's a crown on the South Wales Police's logo. But I drawed like a sword handle, and then with the 777, which represents God. I mean, and it's got like two, like almost like two eyes with like teardrops. Yeah, I mean, and the two teardrops thing on it represents redemption, clarification, washing away the muddiness, and all of that. Yeah, I mean, that's what the handle represents. It's like you're back in control, and you're washing away all the lies, the slander, the sinful natures of ours upon you, and much, much more. There's a massive meaning behind it. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me just see if this. Nah, I'm gonna need a bottle of Cal. I got some water left in this. My throat's getting a bit dry and tingly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, right? I keep telling people, right? Stop lying to me. If say if I lied, they would go, "Hey, stop that." Mm? And yet, when I say to them, "Stop lying," and they continue to lie to me, and then they say, "Oh, trust us," and I'm like, "Why?" But isn't it interesting the police wear black, or no? What's the biggest lies of all? The black lie. Think about that. Think about that. That they wear black. You know what I mean? Don't we say white lie and black lie? Don't we say that? And we say the black lie is the biggest lie. Are the authorities telling us that they're the biggest liars going? Think about that. Think about that. And yet I have a t-shirt, a jumper, a t- I almost said again. I almost said t-shirt again. No, be gone, evil ones. Anyway, it says here, deaduk.info. Unlock minds. All that because our minds have been imprisoned on so many levels. I mean, it's authorities and all of that are saying, "Hey, trust us," and they'll say, "Oh, don't look over there," and so forth, and all of that, and so forth. And yet, people like myself are going, you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to think and all of that and so forth. But government's like, "No, leave it to us. We can do it." And I'm going, "No. If you guys want to go and check this out, go and check it out." Which one sounds like they're censoring and trying to imprison you, and which one sounds like, hey, you're free. If you want to look at it, go and look at it. If you don't. You know what I mean? Which one sounds free? Yeah, the second one, isn't it? If somebody's telling you, "Oh, don't look at this," and all of that and so forth, you know what I mean? And it's not in the way of say if I saw something horrific and all that, and I say to you guys, "Hey, don't look at that. It's horrific," but you know what I mean. But I'm not going to stop you. You know what I mean, it's up to you if you want to check it or not. You know what I mean? Then you'd be like, "Oh, it's horrific." And then you ask yourself, "Do I want to look at it or not?" You know, you ask yourself the question, and then you make that choice for yourself. You know what I mean? But the establishment, you know what I mean, and we've seen it through the scandemic and all that and so forth, where they've gone, "Oh, those people are crazy. Those people are nuts. This, that, and so forth, and everything else. Oh, no, 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 don't go." So they've built up this thing of like trying to control the public, trying to control everyone. That, oh, you must just only listen to them. When somebody does that, when somebody says to me, you must listen to me, I'm like, okay, why are you hiding? Why should I only listen to you? What is really going on? It's like government saying, only believe us. I'm like, why don't you want me to go to God? You know what I mean? And I tell you why. There's so much that they don't want people to know about Jesus and all the other things is because Jesus stood up to the authorities, stood up to the establishment of his day, stood up to the banking cartels of his day, the money lenders and all that and so forth. And so I'm doing not exact same because I mean I can never take the whole world's sins on and you know that I mean that must have been dreadful. I mean that must have been. Whew. Anyway, it's bad enough. I'm trying to deal with myself alone. Billions and trillions of people and all that sins on top and more. You know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, if there is other planets and all that and so forth, that means he took on their sins as well. And I think of that. If Jesus is the way and all that, right? And God created the universe and everything and a lot more and divinely this and all that and so forth. And Jesus is the way. Is it just our sins he took on? Or don't forget, if there's other intelligent life forms out there in the universe, makes you think, doesn't it? But anyway, I do wonder. End of the day, I do wonder. And the thing is, well, you look at the establishment and all of that. The establishment, the authorities. I mean, definitely betrayed us all. I mean, on something like those working in authorities, not, and that's the thing, guys. I mean, when people say authorities, I mean, and the establishment and all of that, you still got to break it down. I mean, get past the illusion and all that, and it's still people. So when people are going, it's just a system and all that, but don't you work within the system? Aren't you the system? Hold on. And they go, I'm just doing my job, but aren't you the system? Where do you work? If I say, I work at Swansea Council, therefore you're the system. And you say to somebody who's a politician, you get to, where do you work? Oh, I'm a politician and I work for, then you're the system. You know what I mean? Or, and you say to somebody, else, where do you work? Oh, I work in the bank. So you're part of the banking system that's affecting us all. So when people say, why is this going on and so forth? And then they tell you that where they work and so forth. You know what I mean? And if it's in a position where they could do something about, but they choose not to, then they are the problem. You know what I mean? Hold on, let's go aside. I hear a lot of noise. You know what I mean? There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of banging and this, that, and everything. But oh well. But yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it, guys? It does make you think what's really going on there. You know? So there's only a little bit left in that. Anyway, yeah, that will help me through though. But the thing is, though, you go ask yourself the question: Are these people in these positions that say, "Oh, it's a system," or are they really saying, "We don't care. We're getting a wage packet. We don't care if you suffer." Think about that. And also as well, I mean, as they say, there's a housing crisis going on and all of that, right? Okay. I think that we in the UK, ones that still got a caring heart, right, should hold these people to account, especially the councils and all that and everything else, and also hold those to account who do nothing. And you know the ones that go, guess they think just throw money at it and then things are going to be solved. You know what I mean, those people are idiots. And because if throwing money at something solve things, then why is the UK in debt? Think about it. People go, "Oh, I'm a taxpayer," this, that, and so forth, and all that, and yet the money hasn't gone to services where we think, and yet, hold on a minute, let me go and check this. This may be what I'm waiting for. Right, guys, I got to bugger off. Damn it. Why is it so flipping late? But anyway, is this it? Single. Hold on a minute. Single. That's all they got is a single. How am I supposed to get fucking back? Oh, nah. This is too up in the air, guys. This is too up in the air. If I go in there, I'm going to be stuck in Swansea and I won't get back. Then again, right. I'm a damn little fucker anyway. I'm still going to go in. I'm still going to go. So, but the thing is, I've missed this bus now because by the time I put my trousers on and so forth and try and get across, yeah, the bus would have gone past. All I got to do is just step down by the corner there, guys. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I'll go and catch the next one, and then that one should thing. I'm filming. I'm filming. And no rush as well, guys. Second class stamp. Look at that. Second class stamp. That is people helping those that are going to be made homeless and that. No rush. Like, oh, we'll use second class stamps. You know what I mean, and I know stamps have gone up in price and all of that, guys, but still, second class stamps. Everything, guys. You know what I mean, it's got you, but I've gone through stress now. Uh, yeah, I'm not paying them. Hold on. But isn't it funny that they sent this, right? And I spoke to Ovio. They know what's been going on and everything, right? And yet, I've made an agreement with Ovio and all that, right? Because they know I've been having problems with my bank account, all that. I think the world's telling me that I shouldn't have a bank account, that I shouldn't have money and all that because isn't it funny? As soon as I get money, it's gone within seconds. You know what I mean? I think the world's telling me, you don't need money, Paul. And here's the thing, guys. Before I go, before 11 o'clock hits, I mean, I gotta go have to put trousers on and so forth. And it's this. I didn't come into this world like so many other people. We didn't come into this world just for people to take money off us. Think about that, right? There's loads that are getting this now through their heads and all that. The only reason why you need money because somebody else needs money to pay somebody else. So, right? Think about this, right? So you got somebody that set up a system, right? And in order for that person to have, yeah, I mean, sort of like the electricity, let's say, turned on and so forth, right? They only going out to work so they can pay somebody else, right, in a company to also have wages so they can still go home and pay their bill towards an energy company, right? So then they can have their electric on, so they then can keep the electric on to have the fridge on and this, that, and everything else. So, and then they can go to the shops, buy food, and so forth to pay somebody else to do all this stuff, guys. And we complain that things are not free because we've had a group of people that's made things not free. We've let greed and being selfish get in the way. There are some things I admire that humanity have done. And one of those things, there's places on this earth where when a couple gets together, right, or a person needs a place to live, right, you have the community, the village, the tribe, build a hut for them, a thing for free, so they don't have the debt burden of a home. I mean, so the home is theirs no matter what, right? But what do we do in the UK and the United States of America and Australia and so on? We make having a home a burden. Think about that. You know what I mean? Even when you pay like a couple of payments and you walk into it, you still got that stress of what if I can make this payment or that payment? That's a burden. And yet we have people in the UK and the United States of America that look at places that haven't got this technological advancements and all of that and so forth. And we have people look at these people who live in just huts, mud huts and all that, and we say they backwards. But look at they thinking. That's not backwards. Why should we pay for a home? A home is supposed to be a safe place. Do you think those of you that that get up into heaven, like myself, if I do get up into heaven, are we gonna pay that? Are we going to sort of like, walk into, I don't know, for argument's sake, a flat, and then you got to keep paying for the flat? No, because you be home. You don't pay because you were done the sacrificing already, and sort of like follow God's commandments and all that to be there. You don't pay with physical cash and all that and so forth. You just, you know what I mean? It's just your obedience and all that. And also, God wants to know you. Not like when you hear people saying, you know what I mean? Well, something I listened to yesterday, actually, and I've heard this from many other people as well. There'll be people that will get into heaven and, I mean, despite whatever, God will turn around and say, hey, I didn't know you. That has hit home with me so many times. I mean, yes, you know, I mean, I can listen to this through audio, I can read this and that and so forth. And it hit home to me. Am I having a conversation with Jesus and God? In other words, am I speaking to them? Not just praying about. Am I speaking to them? Am I actually letting them know, hey, I'm doing this today, I'm doing that? You know what I mean? How are you? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And because I mean, I've sat here. It's gonna sound silly to a lot of people, but I've sat here and I've been like using my affinity program, and I've gone, "Hey God, what do you think of this?" You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I look at this and all that. I've sat here. You know what I mean? And I know it sounds daft and stupid to a lot of people that don't believe in Jesus, don't believe in God, and all that and so forth. But I've sat here and I'm just like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm doing this right now. What do you think? You know what I mean? And so forth. Is this what you want me to do? Is and all of that. I'm not boasting or nothing like that, but because I notice a lot of people think I'm on my own because I don't have anybody standing there or sitting or wherever and so forth. They think I'm on my own. Those people don't know God then. If you see me on my own and I believe in God and I'm getting to know God every day. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. I'm trying to get there. You know what I mean? And they only see what they want to see. That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, there are probably days that I've done that, you know what I mean, that I've only wanted to see, and then I've gone, hey, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Snap out of that. And I've had to tell myself off a few times, like, hey, you know what I mean? You're fading out, you're doing this, you're not seeing things for what they truly are. Come on. You know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, how can you see things for what they truly are, as well? I mean, if we are being told that we only see less than a percent of true reality, then what are we missing? Then how can you say there isn't a God when we only see less than 1% of reality of what's really going on? So therefore, how do you know or not know there is a spiritual reality? The only way you find out is by going and have a look, be explorers, and find out the different worlds that are going on. Because Jesus, end of the day, I mean, there's 5 words in my head that are blocking me speaking. You out of the way. I'm trying to say explorer. Jesus was a form of explorer. You know what I mean? And and also explorers paved the way for the next. I think that was, I mean, the principalities trying to get in the way, and I just went. Notice I stopped, threw out the other 4 words, and just kept on the word I want to use, and that is explorer. Notice that. But anyway, so are you going to explore or fall? But anyway, on that note, don't be like a Pride Month ready for your fall. But let's go. Let's go. You guys take care, and I'm going to shoot off now and go and get this bus. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? I don't know where this place is either, as well. So It's going to be interesting, and my anxiety is going to go through the roof as well because I don't bear. I'm not around people as much as I should be. Even right now, I'm going. But yeah, guys, you guys take care and have a good day.